Hey goalies and parents, I'm Tanner Gillette with Goal in the Net. Here we're just going to talk a little bit about the toe tie options on pads. We can either go with the lace option, or with some of these newer pads, you can get the bungee. The bungees are kind of the new thing, what lots of the kids are doing, lots of younger goalies, even some older goalies, more experienced goalies are actually switching to the bungees. They're just a little bit more forgiving. They're a little bit easier on your butterfly, your reverse VH. They have some benefits. There's just more movement, whereas the lace is a little bit more stiff. One thing to note is when you are buying pads, the toe tie is going to change how the pad fits. So the bungee is going to get the pad to sit a lot higher up towards your skate. Whereas you can see with my pad here, I usually do the knots. So I put the knots in, so that allows a little bit more movement from my toe off my pad. So helps with the reverse VH options, helps with just the way the pad operates and fits and molds on your leg. So making sure that you're aware of how those are gonna change the way the pad fits. And while we're here, might as well talk about pads and buying pads. So Vaughn has two lines. They have their Velocity, which is these ones, the new V10 Pro Carbons. I order these ones so I get a stiffer boot, which is an option. I get the one external brake and the one internal brake. So that means you'll get a lot more movement just out of the top of the pad. The boot will be a little bit stiffer, so it won't break down quite as fast. That's the pad that I wear. I like the look of the classic knee rolls, and then the straps on the back are mostly Velcro to shed weight, and then I like the look of the one classic leather strap around the knee. The rest, there's no knee strap, so I attach my pad across the calf wrap, and then my knee wrap goes down to my calf as well, which helps the pad sit a little bit higher on your leg. Now, if we go to the SLR3s, so you'll notice this is more kind of the newer pad that lots of guys are wearing. There's no knee roll, it's a lot flatter. There's no external brake, so it's a lot stiffer. And then actually the curve of the toe of the boot is gonna be a little bit steeper as well. So again, make sure when you're shopping for pads, it doesn't matter which brand, their different lines are gonna fit differently. And we don't just buy pads just because they look cool. You want to buy pads that fit your game and help your game and the way you play. For example, you'll see lots of kids getting Bauer pads. Well, Bauer has stiff pads. And what I'm starting to see with young goalies is their butterflies aren't closing. So you'll see their pads almost kind of end up with a 5-hole in their butterfly. So making sure that you want a little bit more flexible pad that can close those, or you need to have a wider flare, which will help bring those pads together at the top. Making sure that when you're shopping for pads, ask some questions, make sure you're getting a pad that is gonna fit for your game and how you play. Now we'll get into the toe ties, and I'll show how to tie them up correctly so the pad operates on your leg. So doing up the toe tie for the lace, I usually just weave one through. Again, depending on what skate you're wearing, your holder or your tuck will be a little bit different. So I go through one side, through the other, and then it's okay to just pull that snug to the top of your skate, and then you can just tie it simply over the top. What I like to do is I'll actually cross it around the back of my heel and pull it tight, simply like that. Usually do like a double knot or something so you don't want this thing coming undone. That pad is fastened to your leg, so you can see how there's going to be a little bit of give with those toe ties, and that pad will be able to twist and operate in my butterfly correctly. So that's how I do it, making sure that pad is secure. This is basically the most secure point for your pad, so making sure you do that correctly and you don't want this coming undone. Now, if we switch to the bungee, usually depending on the bungee length, so it'll be much the same. The bungees won't have quite as much space. Bungees will go through. Again, you'll cross them through. You're gonna wanna pull that tight. This is an intermediate pad, so it doesn't fit me, so I would probably have to come up there, but try to force these under and under. Now, you'll get the bungees, you'll clip them up on the top. So now again, see how much tighter that pad is to my toe? There's gonna be less give, but when I play, the bungees will have some give. So understanding the differences in how the toe tie is gonna change the way the pad feels on your leg is important. So usually, again, just cross through, pull, cross through, and then loop back up over the top and clip them. That is how you tie those bungees. You want to make sure, again, they're tight, they're not loose. Everything else on the pad is loose, but the toe ties. Toe ties are how we strap the pad to our legs, so making sure those are tight.